Good evening and welcome. Sorry, I'm a few minutes late this evening. My name's Jenny McCormac. I am an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator and I'm based in the market town of Brackley, which is in Northamptonshire, and that's here in the UK. Thank you so much for joining me. You may have joined us on Monday of this week when we featured coffee and card design and our latest stamp set of the week called Peaceful Evergreens, which is this one here, a really easy stamp set to use. Sorry about my dog digging to Australia. All of my dogs seem to have done that. I'm not quite sure what that means. But we've used this stamp set for coffee and card and it's been really popular, I have to say. So the card, I think the card I created, I might have created two on Monday, one vertical and one in a horizontal format, and these are so easy to recreate just by taking the stamps and stamping them across, in this case, a piece of white card. You could use one ink pad or you could use multiple colours of the same, entirely up to you. So this one here is a combination of greens, that is shaded spruce and a little bit of soft sea foam. And then I've used shaded spruce ribbon on there. This one here I've used Night of Navy, Misty Moonlight, and a little bit of, actually these are just stamped off behind, and I've added some of our iridescent ribbon to that. Hi Carol, and good evening to you, and I gather congratulations are in order. I understand that you've promoted and recruited someone to your team, so well done to you, Carol. That's really good. So well done. Pat on the back for you for your hard work. This one is Melon Mambo and Bubble Bath. So just doing a pink one for a different scene. And then this one is Lost Lagoon and Smoky Slate, and then finally another one which I haven't actually mounted up. This is Gorgeous Grape, just stamped off multiple times, so you can see here that's the original one, then stamped off and then stamped again. So obviously all the same set of stamps, slightly different sentiments on some of them, but really easy to use. So what we're going to do this evening is step that up and add some of the dies. Hi Fran, thanks for joining us. What I want to show you first is something that I created and we did for our recent team event, but also my all-day customer card event. So I'm just going to turn this light off here so you can see the effect better, and I might also turn this one off. Not quite sure what it's going to do with it, but oh, there we go, you just about see it. I will turn the lights back on in a minute. So I created a photo frame and I used some backing paper. Let's put this back on, and I stamped some trees in the background. Hope you can see that okay. Oh yes, that's a little bit better. I stamped some trees on the backing sheet. I added some stamped and die cut trees in front of a panel of white card, and then I stamped some of the elements from a Yuletide village even, and added those to the front. And then when I put it together for the frame, I took a small string of lights and I wound them first of all round the back, and then round the back of that layer, and then round the back of that layer. So that was the overall effect, which I was really pleased with, and everybody really loved it. So if you have the opportunity, and you have the stamp sets, you could use another set of scenery here, of course, and you could use other trees. So I just wanted to show you that it can be more than obviously just for cards. And this is just a pretty standard photo frame, box photo frame, and what you can do is I've done it on one piece, so you could take that out, put it into an envelope, keep it ready for next year, and then just add, do a spring one, for example. So just to show you that effect. So yeah, they really enjoyed making it, and some of the, I mean, mine looks quite basic compared to some of the ones that were created. So I will share some of those on my Facebook page perhaps tomorrow, so you can see some of those finished samples. Okay, so let's get back to this evening and let's do some stamping, and put this one back on. And I haven't decided what colours I'm going to do, so the colours are going to be your choice. I've got a panel of white card. Let me just turn this light down a little bit, so it's not quite as bright in your face. I don't know whether it's because my settings on my screen are quite bright, but it always looks slightly washed out to me. Let me have a look on here and see what it looks like for you. So I hope everybody's had a good day. It's been a beautiful day here, which is always good, and managed to have a really nice long walk with Woody this afternoon. We did get, well, I got quite muddy and Woody got very muddy in the puddles across the footpath in the fields. But there we go. Right, it does say I'm live, that's always good, so a warm welcome to everybody. Okay, let's get the right screen. I don't know what it's done now. There we go. Okay, so good evening Carol, who I've said before, well done, and Caroline as well, and everybody else who's watching. It doesn't tell me everybody who's watching if I'm not friends with them on Facebook, for example. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp the background with the large trees. I'm going to pop that through an embossing folder, and then I'm going to stamp and die cut some trees to go on top. So your colour choice, let me know what colours you fancy. So we did blue and green. Let's use that one. I might use the snow as well, I'll see in a minute. I need a nice big block. I was looking for something the other day and found another one of these nice big E blocks, so that is good. Okay, let's make sure that's clean before we start. So let me know if you have a colour preference. Just going to get a piece of paper out to stamp onto. Like this. I'm going to turn it on its side because it's easier for me to do that way. And oh, brown sepia. I'm liking that idea. Okay, let's go. Crumb cake or basic beige. I'll maybe do a mixture. That sounds like a nice idea, Carol. Thank you. Let's give it a go. Right, this is crumb cake. Let's see how dark it is. It might be quite dark. Let's give it a go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start these quite a way up, and I'm going to put the other ones, the ones that I die cut, in front of these. Okay, that is quite inky, so I'm going to grab a block and just move some of this ink. I've been replacing a few of my ink pads because they're extremely well used, and this is one of them. So let me ink that up again and you'll see the difference. Okay, let's do this one here. So you can instantly see, hopefully, the difference between the two crumb cake ones. That stands out quite a lot, doesn't it? And let's do another one like here in the middle. I'm going to bring this one down a little bit. And I'm just going to stamp this again, stamp it off, and then just add a little bit here. You can see that in the background, maybe just. This is a great one for using just with literally a single stamp set and a single colour. And just by stamping it off or moving the ink, you can get a different effect. Okay, so there are my brown sepia trees. Thank you so much, Carol. Okay, now what I'm going to do is stamp some and die cut them. So I think probably what I'm going to do is use the next size down and the smaller one to stamp some more trees and die cut those. I'm going to pop this through the snow embossing folder. I was going to use the trees, but I can't find that embossing folder. I don't know what I've done with it. Obviously I haven't put it away after a class or something. Right, let's stamp someone here. I can take that one off for the time being. So that was the largest of the three. And then we'll stamp some. So I'll stamp some in crumb cake. So if you do have a new ink pad and you feel it's too dark or it's too wet and you don't get a good stamp, then take a block, or you could take a bone folder, just make sure you clean it afterwards, and just move the ink to one side. The ink will work its way back down again, so you don't have to worry about that. Let's do one of these in basic beige as well. Let's do that. Just ink that one up. Now I can see that is also really inky. Although it's not too bad on there, but I'm just going to clean that off and do the same with this one. And you can see quite distinctly where I've moved that ink, if you look at the ink here on the right hand side. So it just means it's been well inked. Okay, I'm just going to stamp a couple of these. So that's the basic beige. I'm going to do another one of that stamped off. Oh, you can hardly see that, so there's light and there's so light you can't see it. And then let's do these ones here. So this is the smallest of the three. I won't need all of these, but I'm just going to stamp them in preparation. That's that one, and maybe I'll do one in crumb cake. Not quite going to fit that one on there. Let's see if I've got a... I laugh at myself. See if I've got a small piece of basic white. Who am I kidding? I've got a huge supply of basic white. I can't remember what I was doing now. One of those, and then let's do a crumb cake one. There we go. So I'm going to die cut some of these. So let me show you the dies. And we've got obviously the little line of very small ones, but they won't work with this quite close together. Okay, so the dies, there are, take that little piece out of the way, 3 dies for the 3 different trees. 1, 2, 3. Not sure that's exactly the same size, not quite. Okay, so each of those. There are also 3 dies that add detail. So you can, for example, just cut this out of plain card without any stamping, and then cut this element in a darker or a lighter shade, and the same with this one and this one, and you'll end up with detailed trees without needing the stamp set. I have to say I love the stamp set, so so that's those. So I'm just going to use the outline ones for our purposes. Just those 2 I need. Those 2 I need. We also have the die, if I can extract it, that cuts this set of trees out in one go, all 5 trees. And then we have a die that creates a bow. So it cuts out the 2 loops that you fold over, and then you've got the ribbon at the bottom of the bow and then the bow centre. So you could add bows to your to a single tree, for example, if you wished. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do is pop this through an embossing folder, and I've got this one here which features snowflakes and snow dots, and it's concentrated at one side and then it's lighter at the other, and you can use this really either way round. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in, and if you want it the right way round, make sure the Stampin' Up logo is facing you, and always make sure when you put it through your machine, whatever die cutting machine you use, you want to put the fold through first. You can put it through sideways, that will work. What you don't ever want to do is put it through with the open side first, because the force of that, if it's not level, can actually break your embossing folder. I'll show you what happens if you do that. I've got one here, and it's particularly with the large ones. So this is my embossing folder. And now it's very, I've replaced it basically, but I want to keep it to show people what not to do. So you always want to make sure that the fold goes through first. Obviously this is too wide to go through sideways, but what's happened is somebody's either put it through and then put it back again, but the force of it going through has pushed this up. It will still work, but it's a little bit unfair on the machine to force it to go through, because can you see it's got like a bend in the middle, and it's really not good for the machine to be under that element of pressure. Okay, so I'll keep that as a reminder for people. So what I'm going to do is just pop this in with the snow embossing. I'm going to have the detail at the bottom so that I've got this snow effect here. And this one goes almost to all of the edges. Okay, let me just pop that through. I won't lift up my machine because it's not very exciting. So I'm just using our grey speciality embossing plate, and then if I open this up, hopefully you can see, if I angle it, bring it up a little bit, you might be able to see the snow here at the bottom. Just about. Okay. And then I'm just going to die cut some of these trees. So bear with me 1 second while I do that. And just moved all my plates out of the way. There they are, right in front of me. So I'm probably just going to do maybe 3. Let's have a look and see. So I've got that one there. Just line it up carefully. Got a bit of tape fortuitously. Can't keep still. Okay, right, bear with me 1 second. So that is a crumb cake medium-sized tree. So thank you, Carol, for the suggested colour. So basically I can bring these down into the snow. Let's add one of the basic beige medium trees. It's time like this, then I wish we had still had the shimmery white card that we used to have. That's that one. And then let's have a couple of small ones. So if ever there's something you think Stampin' Up have retired but you'd love to see back, do make sure you let your demonstrator know, or if you are a demonstrator, pop it in the suggestion box, and you can say, if you're a demonstrator, whether it's suggested by your customer or whether it's your own thought. Oh, well done, Fran. Yes, I think I've run out of mine, but I used it for watercolour because it's much nicer than watercolour paper. But it was great also for stamping on, because watercolour paper and stamping, because it's quite a textured paper, wasn't so good. Okay, there's a smaller one. May not need another one, but let's do one in case. Yes, that's right. Yes, the company that made it for Stampin' Up stopped making it, and I think they probably did try other suppliers. I haven't seen anything equivalent, but I'm sure there must be. So maybe we need to let Stampin' Up know that we'd like it back. Perhaps I'll put it back in the suggestion box. There we go. Right, sorry about that. So I have got some assorted trees, medium, large, medium and small, and my stamped ones are the larger ones. Okay. Now I've got a little snowflake up in here, which is really pretty. What I could do is add a little bit of blue for a little bit of sky. I think I'm going to do that just to differentiate that. I need to find my paper like that. And a blue blending brush and a blue ink, because I think most of my blending brushes have run out of colour now. So just inking that up. Yes, I don't think I had any on it really. Do nicely. So I'm not going to bother masking any of this off. I'm just going to bring this in, and it should make those little snowflakes really stand out, which it does. If you can see that, can you see those now? Hopefully you can. So just a little bit more. I've seen some lovely card designs with night sky backgrounds and embossed in silver or embossed with white embossing powder. There we go. So now I've got my little snowflakes showing up a little bit more. Thanks, Caroline. There we go. That's that. Okay. Shut that one up. Right. So now I've got my medium and small trees that I can add, and I want a little bit of a contrast to these ones here. So let's put this one here against the lighter one, and maybe that one in front. And then maybe I only need 3. Like so. What do you think if I just lift that up? I'm going to pop these up. You can hardly see them, can you? They're so camouflaged on there. There we go. Right, I'm going to pop them up on dimensionals. That will give them a little bit of interest and height. Just going to pop 3 on this larger one. I could have stamped these on vanilla card. That would also have worked. Maybe let's have that a little bit higher, like so. Or I could have stamped it on basic beige as well, that would be nice. And I could have got away with slightly darker colours maybe. That's that one. And then this little one here. That's right, I'm just looking at the colours. I'm going to go for the lighter ones so it stands out against the background. There we go. Like that. Hopefully you can see those. If I lift those up a little bit now, you can see them a bit better, because the light casts a shadow when you got it lifted up on dimensionals, and so it makes it, as well as it obviously being a little bit more 3D, it does make it more 3D. And then I can add a little bit of ribbon if I want, or some thread. I happen to have got some silver just to hand, and a sentiment, and then I'll mount that on. Let's see. I'll put it on. It's an off piece, an off cut. Gosh, I can't get my words out tonight. Of crumb cake. I think that would work. It needs to be relatively dark for it to show up. So I'll trim that one down and pop it onto a white card. Like that. Yeah. Makes those browns stand out. I've got to extract my trimmer. So I released the details of our class in a box yesterday, which has been very popular. Thank you so much. So we have an in-person class on Tuesday, if anybody local wishes to attend. So I'm cutting this 10 by 14.35 to give me that narrow border. That's centimetres, and this one will be 9.5 by 13.85. So I'm just going to deliberate about my ribbon and sentiment. Ah, hi Chris. No French class, is that because of half term, I wonder? Okay, so I've got this which I could put slightly higher or lower or not at all. It's nice of you to join us, Chris. We don't often see you here on a Thursday. So I've got my sets of trees. So I've got 3 die cut trees here, 3 or 4, 5 behind. So maybe I don't need the ribbon. Maybe I'm just going to put my little sentiment at the side, because I've got this is embossed at the bottom. So I can't stamp onto that. I don't want to. I don't want it lower than this front tree. So I think if we just find a small sentiment, I'm going to pop that on there. So let me grab my box. Oh, the teacher is away. Bless you. Okay, let me see. So I've got one of these banners that would go across there quite nicely. I don't like it lower. Or maybe just a small strip that I could stamp on. I've got some tiny ones here. So let's see what I've got. Just to finish that off. And I've got Peaceful Season, which is a sentiment stamp that goes with this whole suite, and it's got lots of little messages as well as large ones. So we've got all the best. A season of wonder and happiness, which is what I used on the other ones. Love from our home to yours. Love from my home to yours, which I think is nice. Joy and love to you. So I think I'll use one of these small ones, although I have got May Your Days Be Merry. I think I'm going to go for Joy and love to you, and I think I'm probably going to put it on a piece like that. Let's have a look. Of course I do have to find it. There it is. Joy and love to you. Yes, that would work. And I might stamp that in espresso so that it stands out. I always like my sentiment to be, especially if it's very fine, I like it to be in a darker colour. Otherwise you just can't see it. It doesn't stand out enough. Oh, that's the wrong colour. And that one is. That one do. That's what I'm after. That's right, I've got my ink pads down in a box on the floor. And of course it's dark underneath there. Right, let's grab this one that says Joy and love to you. So just inking that up. I'm going to try it on this piece here. See what it looks like. So I haven't put any of these pieces together yet. So I'm going to trim it from the left hand side and position that to the right. So I've got this star here, and that on the right will give a nice balance to it. Could put it right across the middle and have it in the centre, but I don't want to cover up my trees altogether. So that's what I'm going to do. And then I'll use the small trees on the inside of the card. So let's put these layers down. So there's a piece of crumb cake. Just get out my glue. I don't know why I turn this card over. Have you noticed I do that every time? Even when it's the same on both sides. I wonder how many other demonstrators do that. Do you do that, Carol? It's just instinct to turn it over. Okay, there's my crumb cake layer. Here's our panel. It's going to go on the top. If you wanted to put ribbon around it, you could do that when it was attached to the crumb cake layer if you wished. Put this layer on the top. Oh, Carol does it too. Anybody else do the same thing? Chris, I wonder if you do. There we go. So there's our piece on the top. It's very pale, so I hope you can see it. Yeah, I think you probably can better than I can, because I think my screen is on a light setting. So what I'm going to do is, with my scissors, is hopefully get this fairly straight for the right hand side, and then Chris says she's trying to remember, but probably yes. Next time you do it, let me know. Okay, so this can either go right to the edge of the crumb cake, right to the edge of the white, or to the edge of the inside white, whichever you prefer. I think I'm going to do it to there. So I'm adding glue on the left hand side, and then I'm just going to add a very small bit of dimension because there's a gap here from the tree and I don't want that piece to be sort of hanging out, so I'm going to literally cut. That's probably too tall. A few millimeters worth. Yeah. Okay. Let's trim that edge off. Hi Chris, thanks for joining us. I hope you are doing all right. Let's see if it will fit there. It will. Just move it around. So I've just anchored this piece with a little bit of dimensional on the right hand side, so just a narrow strip, because this is above the dimensionals that are behind the trees, like so. Okay, let's stamp the little trees on the inside, although I could just use this one on the inside. As I die cut it, why not? Otherwise I would normally have stamped the little trees on the inside, which I'll show you, but as it's there and spare, just going to put that one in there like that. And let me find one of the other samples for you. So this one here, I added the trees across the bottom like that, those little trees. Hi Trudy, thanks for joining us. And this one, I stamped them as well in two colours, just a really effective stamp. And there's another one here. So this one is Lost Lagoon and Smoky Slate. And then I did the same on the inside, stamped the same colours and season's greetings on the inside. So there we go, that is our design for today. So I stamped them in the background. I ran this through the embossing folder so it's got the snowflakes. I used a blending brush across the top so we can see the sky and the snowflake detail as well. I guess I could have done it across the bottom, but I wanted that to remain white for the snow. And then I stamped and die cut 3 trees, and I used Crumb Cake and Basic Beige as my colours. And then I've stamped Joy and Love to You in Espresso. I could add a little bit of bling to finish that off, but I don't think it necessarily needs it because I've got these blue snowflakes. That does the same job as adding some little diamantes onto there. Thank you, Fran. And then, because I had an odd one left over, I popped that on the inside. So thank you to Carol for the idea of using the light browns to get that sort of sepia effect. So I hope you like it. And for those of you that missed it earlier, I showed the frame that we made in our all-day event. I'll just show you that again for anybody who missed it. So it's got lights behind it, but this uses the same stamp set. I've stamped on the, I'm trying to think what's called, winter season. The paper that we had last year that's been carried over. Yes, thanks, because it's nice in the browns, isn't it? And then I added the Yuletide Village in the front and layered that with the little lights. So there we go, that's our stamp set of the week. Let me show you the other ones that you may have missed earlier if you didn't join us right at the beginning. So we've got the pinks version, also quite sweet, purples, and Lost Lagoon, the traditional green, and that's got some Wink of Stella on it, which reminds me I need to take that with me tomorrow. I'll put it out ready. And then obviously the navy as well, to make it look like the sort of navy pines, and again all stamped on the inside and the envelopes. So thank you so much. That's our coffee and card design for tomorrow afternoon, for those that are able to make it with us in Brackley. And we then will have a new stamp set of the week starting on Monday. So I hope you're able to join us. I hope you have seen the cards for our card class for October. I showed those in a video which I shared yesterday. And if you're on my email list, you will have received an email with the link to book. So I hope to craft with some of you next week. And then the online class is at the weekend. So thank you so much, everyone. Do take care. I hope you like the cards. Do look after yourselves and your loved ones. And I look forward to crafting with you again really, really soon. Thank you so much. And if you've made anything with the Peaceful Evergreens, then do share that with me. You can pop it on my Jemini Crafts page, or you can send me an email and I'll upload it for you. If you want me to. So thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Yes, Chris, I'll see you tomorrow. That'll be good. And Caroline, I'll see you next week. And everybody else is a little bit too far away. And Chris, I hope you're doing okay if you're still watching. Take care, everyone. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.